Alrighty, we are back. We got an updated time and temperature, 9:37 already. Where's the time fly when you're having fun, right? 77 degrees, folks. It's going to be a little bit warm up here in the North Georgia mountains, so govern yourself accordingly, as they say. It's going to be warm all week, I believe. Little scattered showers here and there. We're hopeful that we can get a clear night on Saturday the 6th. To do the fireworks from close to the dam in Blue Ridge.
What's the forecast?
The forecast, as it is every day, is scattered thunderstorms, chance of rain. You know, those are the pop-ups that happen. But the good news is usually after the sun goes down and the winds die down and the temperature cools a little bit, that stuff tends to go away. So we're hopeful of that. Anyway, Jane and I are with you for the next 20 minutes to close out the Tuesday edition of reporting from the office here. Brian took the last hour off to go attend something at Gilmer County Commission, and he will report back on that tomorrow. We will be with you on Friday. We'll be gone on Thursday for the holiday, but we will be back. Jane and I, Bruce and Brian, will be back on Friday together at Sycamore Crossing for the All-Star Panel, where we'll have a visit from Doc Whaley. We'll do a little Ask the Doc. Hopefully Jesse Barton will join us, and maybe even have a visit from the Humane Society of Blue Ridge, a little pet of the week. So anyway, we look forward to seeing you on Friday. When we left off here, Jane, we were trying to figure out what in the world would happen in this little hamlet up here if Antifa types came and tried to disrupt our way of life. And during the break, you said, I know what had happened. We'd all get out our guns and go after them. But you know what? We laugh.
We would.
We would.
I got mine.
We are those precious few that cling to our guns and religion.
We do indeed.
You know, one of the most profound things that Hillary ever said, or Obama ever said, and they were few and far between, was that there are some folks out there that cling to their guns and religion, right?
He also said America is not a Christian country any longer. You remember that?
I do.
I think it was in the same speech.
I do. Was that just a Freudian slip as to say...
Which means Judeo-Christian, means
Judeo,
respect,
yeah, exactly.
Respect people, Go on.
I got her stomping in the studio, folks. The mic is rocking. Don't get Jane riled up, let me tell you. Yeah, if you ever rent an apartment, make sure that the name Whaley doesn't appear in the loft above you, because when she starts to stomping...
Yeah, I'm not throwing things, though. I'm just stomping.
Well, that's good. Well, your place is too beautiful to throw things. But that's the truth, right?
Yeah.
I mean, middle America, I don't think would put up with that stuff.
I wonder, but the thing is, they're breaking the law. They're going to come, and then we're going to have to abide by the law. Lawfully, we have guns lawfully. But we really can't, unless if they're throwing malts on us and cokes on us, we can't shoot them. That's not self-defense. So...
But you know what the big difference is? One of the big differences, I believe, is that the leaders that we have elected wouldn't tolerate it.
In this little town?
Well, I know for sure that...
Well, do you think the sheriffs and the police would
I think that
come,
they would...
not like Oregon?
I think that they would act in accordance with the rule of law.
I do too.
And take the appropriate action.
And that's what they should.
Not on my watch. It ain't going to happen in my town.
Isn't that a good feeling?
Yeah. That's why people are gravitating to the North Georgia mountains and leaving the inner cities of some of these places that have just turned so handout. You know, what are you going to do for me today? Not what are you doing for yourself. Not what are you going to make of yourself. Not take advantage of the opportunity that's out there. But you know what? I need reparations. You didn't treat me right this week.
That reparation thing is a circle. It's a vicious circle. It's in and out. It's convoluted. Many black people owned slaves. Many black people in Africa sold their cousins
Yep.
for slavery. I mean, it's all just convoluted. But the people who don't want to look into what really happened in history, if they can even find it, they have no clue. And if you want to get educated really quickly, you look at Dinesh D'Souza's talks that he gives in colleges. You will get educated really quickly, or watch his movies.
If anybody has not seen any of I think he's done 2 movies, correct?
Maybe 3, but don't ask me.
Yeah, I mean they're brilliantly done.
Hillary, two for sure.
Obama came after him, I believe, and even put him in jail for a little while for some.
Well, yeah, he donated some money. It was a little bit, but he went over some. And look at Hillary's getting billions. So he couldn't vote. He lost his right to vote.
Yeah, it was nothing but an act of we're going
dictatorship stuff.
We're going down rabbit hole stuff with that. But anyway, Dinesh D'Souza is brilliant, and he is a guy to listen to and to watch.
Yeah,
I agree with you on that.
And he backs everything up. It's not just this stuff he pulls out of clouds.
No, everything is fact based.
Factual.
Everything that Levin does is fact based. I mean, he's got a book that thick, and I swear to God, 20% of it is notations, where the source was. So if you don't believe it, go check it out.
Yeah. So I want to know. These people are saying we need to pay reparations. The whites need to pay the blacks, African Americans, reparations. Why doesn't someone besides Dinesh, and people have already forgotten it, come out and say, in America, black people owned slaves. In America, black people did. In America, the Democrats were the majority of the people who owned slaves. In America, the Democrats voted against integration from day one. There were fights in the Senate. Some Republican got hit over the head with a stick and really hurt badly because he was not going to vote. He was going to vote for integration.
There are people saying, rightly so, that the Democrats are the ones that need to pay the reparations.
Exactly. And that you can prove that. There's names and dates. You can prove that.
Yeah.
But no one listens and no one wants to hear that. That's the problem.
We talk about the slave trade, and I know this subject just will get you going. And we don't have a lot of time to cover it in depth, but I know that we want to maybe do a show one day on the child trafficking. I told you. I warned you. The child trafficking that goes on in this country, and quite frankly, embarrassingly enough, that goes on in this state.
It does a lot.
This state is one of the leading states, unfortunately, the state of Georgia, where we live, and the state that we love, it is rampant.
One thing I'll say for the people out there that's a personal experience. I have done a lot of work on this.
I know you have.
And I know quite a
and
bit about it.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not making light of this, folks.
No, he's not.
This lady has done the research. She is an advocate against the. I'm sorry.
There are children that go missing, thousands of them every day. They don't get on the news. They don't look for them very much because many people are involved. And I happen to know that in Washington, D.C., in that area, is one of the highest places where kids are kidnapped and then sold into to slavery, really, for sexual, for money. So, and they're killed, and there are a lot worse things. So here's an experience. I'll make it quickly. We took our grandson to D.C. 2 years ago. He was 11. I said, grandson, you're going to be with me all the time. He's not used to, I said, he's used to kind of wandering around. We went into the Spy Museum, little bitty rooms, 3 stories up. I said, Knox, you're going to stay with me. Because I knew kids that age can be grabbed like that. And I didn't say that to him to terrify him. So the next thing I know, no Knox. No Knox. I went upstairs, downstairs. I was frantic. 1 hour and a half, I couldn't find
Oh, my
Knox.
God.
So I waited. Why I waited? I finally went and said, this is a problem. We need to find him. They did find him. I was so shaken because I knew what could have happened. And then my mind in that hour and a half went to what could have happened. And when we got back to the hotel and there was my husband there, and we had Knox, and Knox was kind of like, so I went upstairs, and I broke down. I just broke down and cried.
Yeah.
And Bill didn't know what was going on. I explained it. But you cannot let your children, if you're in one of those baseball parks that have 5, let them wander over out. You cannot do it now. These people are insipid. They're everywhere. They're invisible. They look like your next door neighbor. And just look into it. Don't think I'm crazy, please.
Unfortunately, you know, the social services in these communities are so underfunded, and they can't do. This is just my conjecture. They can't do the job that needs to be done to look after the fostered children community, the kids that have been abandoned, the kids that are born and given up for adoption. Granted, the majority of these children that are being exploited come from that community, correct?
A great deal of them do.
Yeah.
And it's
I
not
tried to-
always because they're low on funds.
Right.
There's a little corruption all in the whole thing.
Well, I didn't, as much as I try to stay, you know, up on what's going on, I really didn't understand. And I just said, okay, I'm going to take next half hour. I'm just going to start looking into it a little bit.
Makes you cry.
Well, it's scary. But the one thing that was prevalent to me, and the one thing that stood out, is that the statistic I read was like 70% of children that are exploited come out of that fostered, abandoned.
I don't know about that.
Okay.
I don't know about 70%. What I do know is that young girls and women.
And one other.
Yeah.
Kids that are coming over the border by themselves.
Yeah. They're
That's
kidnapping kids to bring with them so they can say I'm the parent and I
Exactly.
get
That's
in.
another huge group.
And they're raped on the way.
Right.
But there are young girls and women who are kidnapped. They are used to have babies. They have them, and then those children are raised by whomever's having this, whatever they've got, this organization with these women having babies, and then they sell those children. I know you aren't going to believe that out there, but it's a fact. And if you want to find out if it's a fact, you can. But when you go there, you're not going to want to stop.
What can be done about it? Awareness? I think that's probably the number one thing is awareness.
Awareness is really important because a lot of children, we used to get on our bikes and ride all over town.
Yeah, we could, stories would go on and on and on, right?
Yeah. You just have to be so vigilant because it's very prevalent. It's more prevalent. But see, there are so many kids kidnapped. So when you say 70% come out of the foster home, I'm not sure that's true anymore. If you knew how many thousands of children were kidnapped, it would blow your mind.
Why don't you hear more about that, though?
Because there's so many people involved. I mean, in towns, the police are involved, the mayors are involved. You can find those stories all over.
Wow.
Yeah.
That sounds like another segment.
I'm telling you, it's terrible. It breaks my heart. It breaks my heart.
Brian keeps saying we need our own show.
I know,
We got a lot of material, don't we?
We could just go on and on.
Your travel schedule is brutal, though.
Russia, I'm going to Russia.
Yeah.
I'll tell Vladimir hello.
I've been to Russia. It was
Yeah.
pretty interesting. I'm
looking forward to it.
I didn't go into the deep part. We went to the tourist areas like St. Petersburg.
Well,
and,
you got to see those. They're gorgeous.
Yeah.
It's
St.
their
Petersburg
culture.
is stunning.
Unbelievable.
I mean,
I've been there,
that
but
city at night. Have you been there?
Yeah, I'm going back though.
That city at night, was just breathtaking with all the bridges lit up and everything. It was really cool. I don't
Yeah.
know if you remember that or not.
So it's come a long way from Stalin. I'm not saying it's perfect. I am not advocating let's get Vladimir Putin elected president. I'm
Yeah.
not saying that, but I'm thinking about, can we have a Castro president? You know, I made that joke. Can you believe that?
You know, the media was reporting yesterday that Julian Castro, is that right? Julian from Texas. Isn't he from, El Paso area, right?
I don't know.
Same area kind of as Beto?
Oh, Lordy. There's something in the water down
Yeah,
there.
yeah. But I don't think he's going to make the next debate.
Yeah.
I don't think that
You think
he's going to.
Beto will?
Oh, I
Gosh,
think
that
he's
guy is an empty
suit.
suit. Except I don't think he owns it. He did have one suit. He's an empty body standing there with. It sounds like there's a little thing telling him what to say. There's really no real emotion. He's regurgitating what other people are saying.
He's a flip-flopper. He's just so monotone, and he gets those arms flailing. And
Monotone.
my
Oh,
goodness, jeez Louise.
Now, before we go, I got something.
Yeah.
I want to leave the people with the thought.
You want to leave?
I want to.
Don't leave.
No, I want to leave the people. I want to give the people something to think about.
Okay, good. Well, we can.
So before we, I'm looking at the clock, but I don't know what it means.
Now we go.
I mean,
It
when
means
we actually
if you
close
do the,
down.
If you do the math.
Did we close down on the hour of 10?
A few minutes.
I know,
Yeah,
see,
a couple
I
of minutes to
know.
10. Give Josh. I don't know. Do you have programming after this, Josh? No
It's not
programming
long,
after
it's
this
very
today.
short,
So
it's very
yeah.
short.
So we can go. Shoot, we can go till 11 if we want. But Josh wouldn't do that.
Oh,
I think he'd
no.
cut us off, and we'd be in there talking to ourselves.
I think, which
But
wouldn't be.
we do that a lot.
No, we do.
We do that a lot. Jane, what are you doing? I don't know. Let's talk. Anyway, we're glad to be here this morning, and Brian is off to the races for this last hour. We talked about a few things today. We talked about Antifa. We talked about FDR and this country, unbeknownst to a lot of people, was close in the 30s to going down the socialist fascist road. And if you don't believe me, just do a little research on the New Deal and FDR and the support that he got from Stalin and Hitler, who were big proponents to saying the New Deal is wonderful. The New Deal was nothing more than a socialist attempt under the guise of getting us out of the Depression.
Yeah.
Is that not correct?
That's correct. And if you watch or you read about when Stalin, Roosevelt, and England, my brain's gone, Churchill.
Oh, Church.
Okay, Churchill.
Winnie.
Yeah, Churchill was devastated because he felt ostracized. Stalin and Roosevelt were friends. They didn't really want to know what he wanted.
Oh, they had
told him what was
the
gonna
Cato
happen.
Accord. Yeah, we'll get
Oh.
together. We'll sing Kumbaya.
So, listen, it's been a real conspiracy. I mean, there is a plan. There is a plan. One thing I want to say, this may not be the last thing, but I thought this up to try to give you a visual on how this
This
is
is
going.
a visual. This is the show and tell portion.
Yeah. So remember that the Constitution of Stalin, which was a totally socialistic society, a dictatorship, you cannot own anything. You cannot own anything you produce. And how they make it sound so good is, now see if you hear this today with Bernie and all these others. It was the abolition of the exploitation of man by man. So I'm not going to let this store owner tell you what to do and just pay you a wage of $10. No, you're being exploited. Well, so that means that, and they say work is a duty. Now in the Constitution they say work is a duty, but some of the socialists say you don't have to work, we're going to give you $1,000, we're going to give you this, we're going to give you that, and then they don't give you anything. But Remember, you don't own your home, your lands. You don't decide where you work. You don't decide how much you can get to eat because they ration the food. Whether you can take a wheelbarrow of money to get it or not, it's just
You're
not there.
describing socialism, correct?
I am. Socialism.
This is for the kids out there who really don't know what socialism is all about. Listen to this lady. She's going to tell you where you are going to end up.
So keep this picture in your mind if you can. When the dictators, the Bernies, the AOCs, the Blasios, when they look at us, here's what they see. Hello?
They don't see anything.
They don't see anybody. They don't care about us. They do not
You're
care.
transparent.
Yeah, right. So, just get out there and talk to people. Educate them. Don't start a fight. Do it very calmly.
There's no sense to start fighting.
Get some facts under your belt. Read some books.
Fact-based discussion. What a concept that would be,
what
right?
a concept, yeah, right.
Yeah. Well, Rush made a good point yesterday in closing. You know, he said, we are so polarized in this country because of many things, but because one party doesn't like the outcome of election and doesn't like the leader of the free world right now, and that would be Donald J. Trump. They don't like him, so what do? Anything that a conservative stands for, anything that a conservative stands up for, they take the total opposite approach. I don't care whether you look at abortion. Abortion used to be, okay, what trimester are we all going to agree on? Now it's full-term abortion, and oh, by the way, we might even need to move to execution of a baby that survives a full-term abortion. Check it out, folks. They are going to the extreme. Anything that we want, they go the total opposite. We want peace in the streets, we show chaos. You want to get rid of Roe v. Wade or go back to women's health rights, we're going to go the opposite way. You can go on and on and on. You want border control? We don't want border control. You want
freedom of religion? They burn your churches, or you can't get this job.
You want you want to get rid of voter fraud? Okay, make everybody show an ID. We don't want an ID. You can look at any subject going in this day and just look at the opposite, and that's what the Democrats stand for. Anyway, it's 10 o'clock straight up.
I know.
We've had a good time.
We're 5 seconds over.
Uh-oh. God, I hope
we have had a good time.
I hope we're not going to get cut off.
This is
this is like a soccer match. Oh, by the way, the U.S. women.
Oh.
U.S. women today, 11 o'clock.
Today, okay.
Semifinals against England. This is like a soccer match. We're going into extra time. No, we're not going to go into extra time, Josh.
Soccer
I know
rules are crazy. Let's just add 5 minutes, 5.5. I mean, let's just add a few minutes at the end of the game. My God.
Yeah, this is stoppage time. Well, we're going to be on the sideline holding up that sheet, and we're going to go, and we enjoyed our time here, and we are out of here.
Adios.